Hi, my name is Beth Massey, and today I'm going to show you how to write some LINQ queries that work over typed data sets. LINQ stands for Language Integrated Query, and it allows us to write queries over things like objects, databases, and XML in a standard way. I'm going to show you some examples that will allow you to start taking advantage of LINQ right away in your current dataset-based applications, so you don't have to re-architect your applications to start taking advantage of LINQ today. So I've got Visual Studio 2008 open, and I've created a simple Windows database application here by creating a data set from the Northwind database and its categories and products. It's a one-to-many. If you're unfamiliar with how to connect to your database and create data sets, then you'll want to watch the Forms Over Data video series first for walkthroughs on how to do that. So this is just a standard form here, and we have some grids. Parent is category and the child is product, and we've got the binding sources set up here. So let's just run this form. There's no link in this application yet, but I just want to pull up all of the categories and products from the Northwind database. Okay, so now as we scroll through, you'll see that the grid below is bound correctly, so it's only showing the children for the selected parent here. So what I want to do is I want to write a LINQ query so that we can aggregate the unit price and units in stock for our products per category. So basically I'm going to put a text box down here at the bottom so we can see a summary of the total price for all of the products in a certain selected category. Okay, so we can do that very easily by writing a LINQ query. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right click and go to View Code. And I'm going to handle the event on the categories binding source called current changed, because as we select a category, I want to then calculate the total on the products for that category. So in order to create the query properly, first I'm going to need to get the category ID that's selected. So I'm going to insert a snippet that I always love. Basically allows us to convert the binding source's current to a specific row in the data table. So I use this particular snippet a lot. So basically it's going to be the categories, category product data set, categories row, and it's going to be the categories binding source here. Okay, cool. So now we can get the row, so you can see I can say row category ID. So we're going to need that in our where clause. So what I really want is the total. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to aggregate the products in me dot category product dataset dot products. Okay, that's the type data table. Okay, where now I need to make sure that the selected product is category ID equals the rows category ID, okay? And I also want to limit the products that are actually not discontinued, right? So products dot discontinued equals false. So if it's discontinued, I don't want to see that in the total, okay? And now we just say into, and we can sum all of this, and what we want to do is we want to sum the products dot unit price, okay, times products dot units in stock. Okay, cool. So now what that'll end up giving us in this total is just a decimal, so that's going to give us the money. So we're going to put this somewhere. I want to go back to the form here, and we're going to drop a text box right onto the form. So I'll go into my toolbox and we'll just drop a text box down here. No problem. Okay, text box 1 is good. Now I can just go back over to my code and we can say me dot text box 1 dot text equals, and we'll just format this as a currency. So total. I'll make it look a little bit better. Okay, so so that's as we scroll through the binding source in the categories, then the total should go ahead and aggregate over the products that are selected for that category. So As we scroll through, you can see now I have category 3, for instance, and there's the price, $10,000. Now, if we go ahead and discontinue, for instance, all of these, and just so we can see that it actually works, how about let's discontinue all of them except the last one, okay? And now when I move across, you'll see that it's only $75, okay? 6 times 1250. So it's actually working, okay? So that's an easy way to use LINQ over your current applications with your current data set based applications here. So if you're using data sets now, you can go ahead and start writing queries super easy. All right, that's pretty easy. I love it. So now let's write some queries over the categories table so that we can filter out categories that we don't want to see. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go over to this form and go to the tool strip and add a text box and a button, and that'll allow us to just do some simple filtering here. So as I type into that text box, I want to see only the categories that match what I type. So this is pretty easy. Let's just do dim. We'll call this matching categories. Okay, equals. And what we'll do is we'll just type from category in me dot categories product category product data set. Categories, that's the typed data table. Okay, we want to select where the category name is like what we typed in the tool strip. So me dot tool strip text box dot text, and just like a like in SQL, it's very similar. We want to basically, this is like starts with, okay, or we're going to be able to type partial match, right? So star, okay, that just indicates the rest matching. I don't care. We're just going to select category. Okay, so now what we can do to display this is we can say me categories binding source equals matching categories. Now, oh, excuse me, data source. Okay, matching categories, which is just the result of this query, which if we look at it, it's an enumerable row collection of the categories row. So it's basically a collection of category rows. Okay, so this basically ends up becoming a collection of rows instead of a data view, which is really what we were working with normally when we bind our binding sources to our data sets. Okay, so if we run this, I'll show you what happens. It's kind of an interesting thing. But first of all, let's make sure our filtering works. But then we're going to talk about what happens in that product grid. So let's just start with C. Okay, I should get 2 categories that match, and there they are, condiments and confections, right? But you'll notice as I, scroll through these parents, the children are gone. Okay, so this grid is still actually bound to the products data table, but because we switched the binding on this parent binding source, there's no more indication of the child binding source to go ahead and filter, okay, anymore. It's because this is an IEnumerable, or it's a collection, okay? It's an enumerable data row collection, okay? Instead, what we really want to do is we want a data view again. So what we can do is we can call an extension method on our query. So on matching categories, there's an extension method. If I type dot, you'll see as data view. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to say as data view. And now when I run it, we won't lose that child grid anymore. Okay, so if I do the same thing, you'll notice that there's our child grid, category 2, and there's 3. Okay, so now it's working as we expected. Okay, so there's the trick. All right, so I hope I showed you some interesting ways you can start using LINQ over your current data sets inside of your current applications. So I'd like to thank you for your time. If you'd like to check out the Visual Basic Developer Center, we'll be posting updates to these videos there. Please also check out the Visual Basic team blog and my blog for more information. Thanks again.